Welcome to today's webinar, presented by Rahi Systems, titled The Strategic Importance of Cloud-Delivered Security. In today's world, companies are shifting to cloud-based platforms. A common practice within these platforms is how to secure mobile users' traffic. This can be done by backhauling data through on-prem devices at corporate headquarters or their data centers where on-premise firewalls are in place. This method might help reduce cyber attack risk. However, it is not ideal in the sense that it creates performance and latency issues. Today, you will learn about the advantages of using cloud-delivered security, including but not limited to scalability, traffic visibility, and ease of deployment. Today, we are joined by our speaker, Nasib Ali, Solutions Architect at Rahi Systems. Nasib has 6 years of experience in networking and security. He has expertise in most of the major network products such as Cisco, Juniper Networks, Palo Alto Networks, Meraki, Aruba Networks, as well as Palo Alto and Juniper firewalls.
Hi. Today I, Nasib Ali, will be talking about the strategic importance of cloud-delivered security. So for this month's webinar, we'll be focusing on the importance of cloud-delivered security. So as you might be aware, this is Cybersecurity Month awareness. So we will get started. When you think about in today's world, businesses are becoming global, and vast majority of the companies that are doing business all over the world, right? So with this shift in globalization, we're also seeing that traditionally companies had on-prem data center where they hosted all their resources on-prem, but now enterprises are shifting to cloud-based platforms, which means many cloud-based platforms no longer have a clear protection against cyber attacks on the cloud-hosted applications, as well as mobile users and global mobile workforce. So given the change in the IT landscape, we're seeing a lot of challenges in the security industry. So traditionally, the way security has been done is you have a physical security appliance on your data center. So given that companies have resources on the cloud, they have cloud SaaS applications, global workforce, this comes with some challenges, right? So some of the industry challenges is physical security appliance, scale limitations. Another challenge is inconsistency of security policies. You might be having a security policy applied on your on-prem. However, when you have a physical firewall, it's hard to apply the same kind of security across the board. So that's another challenge. Also, another challenge is the time it takes to purchase new physical hardware. And then also companies have global offices, data centers, employees. So when you need a solution for all your global sites, then purchasing and shipping globally can be difficult, as well as the deployment time it takes. Sometimes you want to make sure that whatever security solution you have in place it's due for a refresh. However, given the amount of time it takes to do the refresh can be a long time. So that's another challenge we're seeing. So from today's webinar, I want you guys to take away something like to learn about some of the solutions around these challenges. So some of the solutions will be a cloud delivered solution, and then you learn about the invisibility it provides into your global workforce traffic, as well as application usage, and the associated threats. Also, you learn about how easy it is to manage, and then for across all the organization, branch, sites, etc. So I want to dive in a little more. So earlier I alluded the limitations that comes with physical appliance scalability. So I just want to talk about physical appliance scalability limitations a little more. So on a traditional, the way security has been done is you have a physical firewall in your corporate office or in your data center. However, like when you're sizing for that appliance, maybe at the time, the bandwidth and the throughput requirements have changed. So as the bandwidth requirements change, then you run into a world where your physical appliance cannot keep up with the demands of your network. So a solution around that is, okay, since this box cannot keep up with this, or we need a bigger one that has more bandwidth, better performance. So a lot of times the requirements will be replacing it. And sometimes that solution can be expensive, time consuming, and it's not ideal for today's networks. Another challenge with physical appliance scalability is if you have a new site, right? It will not be able to secure, one physical appliance will not be able to secure both sides. So you will need a new physical appliance on the other, the new location. However, that means you have to purchase a new one, do the configurations, etc. So let's talk about securing global workforce, right? If you think about global workforce, the challenge that we face in today's cybersecurity landscape is many of the security breaches have been caused by mobile workforce. And if you think about it, mobile workforce present a significant cybersecurity risk, because a lot of times what happens is someone is working remotely and they're accessing your resources in your data center. However, the same sort of security compliance in your data center might not be applied to the mobile workforce. So we need to think about having a holistic approach to cybersecurity. So one way traditionally to overcome the risks of mobile workforce is having that specific user connect to the on-prem firewall and then go from there, so whatever resources they would like to access. However, when you backhaul traffic to on-prem firewall, it's not ideal. It creates latency issues as well as performance issues. So that's a significant challenge, the way traditional security has been done. So I talked about when you run into limitations of physical firewall, sometimes you need to purchase new firewall. Also, even when you want to deploy in new sites. So purchasing physical hardware, the process can take a long time, and sometimes it doesn't meet the time frame you have in mind for bringing a specific site alive, right? And then given that, like companies are global, you might have a site in Brazil, and that means you purchased equipments, like if your headquarters in America, you purchase equipments in America, send those equipments to Brazil. So you can face a lot of different challenges. Those challenges could be due to inefficient transport. It could be due to country regulations, environmental challenges. So given that, like I took Brazil as an example, is recently with, there was the Amazon wildfire, right? And things like that can cause a delay into projects if for example, your site in that specific location is impacted by that sort of environmental catastrophe. So another challenge is also deployment, right? Sometimes you have a limited resources in terms of engineering, and you have global sites where if you have physical appliance, you might need to send someone to that country to do the configuration, the deployment, etc. And a lot of times, the traveling requirements of maybe someone might not have visa or something, so it can be a little inconvenient. So that could be another challenge as well. So some of this is some of the things that we're seeing in the security industry and the challenge that are faced. But the good news is there is a solution, and that solution is cloud delivered firewall. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to dive a little more into the benefits of cloud delivered firewall. So I talked about companies, the way IT has been done traditionally is not the same anymore. Companies have resources in cloud infrastructure like AWS, Google, Azure, etc., right? The public cloud providers, as well as SaaS applications. So an important question becomes, how do you make sure all your resources are protected? So that's the $1 million question. How do you make sure all your resources are protected? With the cloud delivered security, you will be able to secure your cloud resources as well as on-prem SaaS applications, mobile workforce. So what that means is you will have a consistent security and traffic inspection for all users and locations. So with cloud delivered, you would be able to do the same kind of security policies across all mobile users, protect your cloud resources, as well as your data center and on-prem networks. So visibility in security is important, right? There's a saying, you cannot control what you can't see. If you cannot see the sort of traffic coming into your environment, what kind of threats are exposed, like what threats are associated in this. So it becomes extremely hard to protect what you cannot see. So physical firewall works great within organizations' firewalls, right? When you're within that organization, you'll be able to define your policies, make sure who can access what. But when you have resources in the cloud, SaaS applications, then it becomes a little more challenging. However, cloud delivered firewall, it will provide you a full visibility to a mobile workforce traffic, cloud environments, on-prem. So across the board, you'll have a full visibility. And without having a full visibility, it's difficult to enforce consistent policies or even detect vulnerabilities in that case. It's also important to understand application traffic usage, right? Who's using what kind of applications? What sort of access do they have? Things in that nature. So cloud delivered firewall will be able to give you that level of visibility. So you will be able to see the overall traffic across the board, and that way detect vulnerabilities and prevent attacks. Another benefit with cloud delivered security is the integration it provides, ease of configuration as well as management. So when you think about having all different sites, different data centers, as well as cloud infrastructure like AWS, Google, Azure, etc., SaaS applications, all this, then your environment becomes, it's not the traditional way, then it's a much more sophisticated landscape. And we need to have a systems that will be able, like a security system that will be able to integrate with the different sites as well as uh, uh, public clouds. So Cloud Delivery Firewall provides centralized management where you'll be able to push policies across organization, branches, and users. You'll be able to configure all your sites remotely, enforce policies, does not require immense effort. So it makes things a lot easier than having a traditional physical based appliance security. So in this webinar, the main objective is to give you an overview of the challenges we're seeing in the industry, as well as in terms of security, and introducing you to cloud delivered security. So at this point, we will answer any questions that you might have posted in the chat window. And then in the future, we'll have a follow-up webinars that we dive into a little more deeper about cloud delivered security and overall what it entails.
What are the business benefits for cloud delivered security?
Awesome, that's a great question. So if I talk about the business benefits of a cloud delivered security, the number one is scalability, right? You want a system that you'll be able to scale easily, as well as you only pay for what you use. So if you think about cloud security, you're only paying for what you're using. So if your company, your requirements are a certain amount of bandwidth, at that time you're only utilizing that, and that's what you pay for. And then also the flexibility it gives you, right?
What is the biggest challenge of appliance-based network security?
Oh, great question. So I think in the previous, I talked about the challenges of appliance-based network security. However, if I would say one of the biggest challenges is feasibility. So when you have all this different, right, when you have resources on the different platforms, different cloud sites, and you don't have visibility into those, then it becomes extremely challenging to prevent attacks, to secure your resources. So appliance-based network security, the biggest challenge will be traffic visibility across the different platforms.
Can you name some of the providers for cloud delivered security?
Yes, so with this, yeah, this is a great question. Yes, I talked about cloud delivered security. However, I haven't given specific names who the providers are. But since you asked some of the names of the providers in this space, there are many providers in this space. We, Rahi Systems, will help you find a specific provider who will be suitable for your environment, depending on what is it exactly that you're trying to accomplish. Once we understand your requirements, But if I can give you some of the key players, Palo Alto Networks is one of the key players in this space. Cato Networks is another one. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for the questions. I want to say thank you on behalf of Rahi Systems for taking the time to join and listen today's webinar and participate. Thank you. I hope you found this beneficial. And if you have more questions, you can always go onto our website or reach out to us, and we'll be able to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining this webinar. That's all the time we have for today. Please be sure to stay tuned for our next month's webinar, which continues our networking series. Remember to register for future webinars and catch up on any past webinars by visiting our website at www.rahisystems.com.